Microsoft 365 in practice. Hey Darius, greetings from Halifax.
Hello.
Hey, let's just hang out for a little bit in Teams because I'm quarantining. I'm getting a little stir crazy over here.
Stir crazy 7 months into the quarantine?
Well, for 2 weeks, I wasn't allowed to leave my Airbnb.
Oh, because you traveled.
They call it the Atlantic bubble. So if you're traveling from outside the 4 Atlantic provinces, you are required by law to self-isolate for 14 days. The reality is that I was required to come off of the plane, sign a paper saying I was going to stay in my room for 2 weeks, and then not take public transit with my mask on, go straight to my Airbnb and stay on the property. I was allowed to go in the yard and in the room.
Sounds pretty dull. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, and it wasn't. I planned ahead as I do. I had a bunch of SharePoint training modules that I was recording and some online meetings and some development work in Microsoft 365. So I planned ahead to work a lot during the quarantine. And also there's some other tricks that I found really worked well for me. So rather than speaking them all now, we'll let the video speak for itself.
Let's see it.
So let's take a look at some of the fundamental hardware that I have with me here. So first of all, my trusty laptop, and it's a powerful light laptop, which is great. I've managed to borrow a screen from my host here. So having a second monitor has been really handy. Can't always have that, but managed to negotiate that here. Of course, don't forget your power cords. And I also travel with a small headset. Now this is a mono headset and I find it quite handy. It packs up quite small and it does just the one ear and the headset, so you have the other ear open so you can hear the monsters sneaking up on you. I also travel with a wireless mouse. Just one less thing to worry about is the little cord. Of course, do remember spare batteries also. And naturally, the other thing I travel with is my handy-dandy iPhone 10, which is doing the filming right now, so I can't give you an image of that. But of course, that is a fundamental hardware tool that we use now with our mobile devices. Now let's talk about the software side of it. You know, on top of the hardware, we've got the software. And of course, this is Microsoft 365 in practice. So the tools I'm using are mostly Microsoft 365, or at least the ones I'm talking about here. I do run a Windows computer, and in terms of the tools I'm using in Microsoft 365, fundamentals, of course, are Outlook on both my phone and my computer, SharePoint that I use for time and task tracking and file sharing. Microsoft Teams has been a huge boon as I'm locked in the room here and connecting with people via Teams to share screens and even just share information. Scheduling meetings through Outlook and Teams. Of course, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, using those extensively. And again, I'm using the mobile apps as well as mostly on the computer, but occasionally little mobile app read or edit has occurred while the phone is in my hand. And also worth mentioning is some of those little helper apps like Find Time that helps us schedule meetings. So I use those tools all the time as well. And it doesn't matter where you are to use those tools. Fundamentally, the way that I work here in Halifax, locked in a room, compared to back at my home office, the main difference is the screen setup and my desk and my standing desk and those sort of things. The actual software varies not at all, actually. So that makes a difference. It's open it up and it's good to go. So because this is Microsoft 365 in practice, let's talk about more than just the hardware and software. So first of all, I'm traveling and I like to travel carry-on only whenever I can. A couple of things that make it easier to travel light is remember to wear layers. And so I wear long sleeve t-shirts quite a bit. This one's merino wool. It's light and warm and comfortable. I also try to make sure that I plan for doing laundry, especially being here for 3 weeks. I'm going to do laundry somewhere along the way. That's worked out very well also. One of the things that I'll that I like to travel with is my down coat. Down is fantastic because it packs so small, yet it's really warm. Not waterproof, but still, the warmth factor is key here, and it packs into a small, large grapefruit size when it's squished down. And being locked here in quarantine for 2 weeks, one of the things that I discovered is the usefulness of some of the online tools. There's apps for ordering food and ordering groceries. So Skip the Dishes, for example, I used. It works really well. And Instacart for ordering groceries, also really well. I might even explore some of these tools when I get back to BC. Something my son said was interesting. He said that, well, we've been doing this lockdown thing for long enough that the systems that work well have risen to the top, and the ones that don't work well, you won't find them out there. So yep, those tools work really well. So one of the considerations of traveling and being locked in a room for 2 weeks was fitness. How am I going to stay healthy? So eating well, I can do that. I can figure that out no matter where I am. Eating some energy bars and boiled eggs and whatever other things are easy in a limited cooking situation. So I could talk more about that if you're interested. But I want to touch on fitness. Just a few days before leaving, I was talking to a friend and wondering, how am I going to stay fit locked in this room? Of course, I've got my yoga mat, so I can do yoga, but he suggested a TRX. So I did a bit of research and found this little TRX kit. It's actually very small and compact. This is about 15 centimeters square package. And in it, it's this strap system. You're probably familiar with them. So I was able to put this system, hang it on the inside of the door, and here it is here. So here's my setup. I've got my yoga mat on the floor and the TRX straps hanging off the door. Notice it just goes through the door here near the hinge, and this is a special door hanger. So I found it to be plenty strong, and I can do my fitness right here in the room.
So just like before, you're hinging from the hips, sitting back in that squat position. From here, I want you to pull yourself up, pull towards the anchor point, and then add that calf raise at the top, heels off the ground.
Another thing to consider if you are booking accommodation and you need to quarantine is that you are allowed to be outside in the yard of the property where you're quarantining. I was lucky enough to find a place that had a fire pit that's down on the bottom right there, and a little bit of outside garden space. And that's been really nice. There's not enough room to get out and get a serious walk in, but certainly it was great to get outside and have a fire and do some social distance visiting across the fire while being outside. So, what do you think, Darius? Did you get anything out of that?
Oh, definitely, Jerry. I think that it's honestly a little surprising we haven't made a video sort of like this before. If you remember in the introduction, COVID was mentioned about 30 seconds in. So in a way, this is the most relevant video we've made to our video series.
Good point. If this video actually helps people work from away or work from home, then we are achieving the goals of the Microsoft 365 in Practice series.
Exactly, Jerry.
Hey, I'm Gerry Brimacombe, and this has been another episode of Microsoft 365 in Practice. Please let me know if you have any questions, and your comments and subscriptions are welcome. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.